Hello and welcome to Pigeon Duiwe News. My name is Tato Schone and we're still on the Cape Town tour. Today we're in Paarl. We came here to visit a fancier by the name of Atlus Louw, and in a few moments we'll get an interview with him. Stay tuned.
Hi everybody. I would like to spread a message to catch the South African pigeon news portal on pigeonduiwenews.com, and don't miss their web series where different fanciers get featured on the show every Fridays on YouTube. Pigeon Duiwe News TV. The news company is owned by Mr. Samuel, whom I met and who is a client of Pipa and who used to buy the Golden Prince and Gentle Lady and every other, many other super pigeons. And his main objective is to grow the sport, the pigeon sport in South Africa, as there is a big potential, and also to grow the sport worldwide. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and to like or comment the channel. So I would like to say hello to all the pigeon fanciers in South Africa. Many regards from Belgium. I'm Nicholas. This was Nicholas from Pipa from Belgium. Bye-bye.
Mr. Atlus Louw, welcome to Pigeon Duiwe News.
Thank you so much. I feel it is quite a privilege to have you guys here.
Thanks a lot. And can you just take us from your racing history and how did it start?
Okay, I started at a very young age. I was still in school, and one of my girlfriends, her father was a pigeon fancier, and so I go and clean the lofts and carry the baskets to the club, etc. Because this is my girlfriend, and so I start pigeon racing, and later on I manage one of the teams in his loft, and there it all begins. And after school I go to I start working, and so I earn my own money, and there I buy a loft from a fancier who struggles a lot with racing pigeons, but I have a big and a great background from schoolboys age, young age, and there it starts. I started cleaning the lofts, carrying the baskets, but by doing that I learned from him, and I learned from the birds and how it must be and how it must be housed and how you keep them healthy, and there it starts. And that is not something you get out of the books, but you get it from experience and from old hand fanciers.
Can you tell us more about racing here?
It's very, very difficult here down in Paarl because it is surrounded by some mountains. There is the Kloof mountain. Behind that mountain is Woester, and Touwsrivier and Lensburg and Beaufort West, and there, that is our route, what we race on. Down there on my left, right-hand side is Franshoek and Stellenbosch. That is also a lot of mountains there. This side is Beinskloof near Wellington. Behind Beinskloof is Ceres Mountains. Here's Paarl Berg Mountain at my back. So it is all surrounded, Paarl is surrounded by a lot of mountains here. So when it is turning dark, the sun goes down there on my left-hand side, it's to the eastern side, and then it starts getting dark here in Paarl. Cape Town have the privilege, the sun is still very shining because they have more sunlight than our guys here in Paarl. When it rains, this is in a valley, so when it rains, the rain is heavily here. This is a very high rainfall area, because the Berg River is down here. All the dams, Franshoek Dam, Wemmershoek Dam, Nantes Dam, Bethel Dam here behind me on the mountains. So it is a heavy rainfall area, and birds don't like wetness. When your loft is wet, it starts turning coccidiosis and all those stuff. So a loft must be bone dry. And during the winter, I struggle because my loft is very low to the ground and all the underground water is giving damp to my loft. So I struggle with, you see that all that curtains there, that is to keep the temperature right in my lofts. When it is raining, my birds usually didn't get formed very easily because it is too wet here. And that is how I have to struggle here in Paarl.
So what do you do, I mean, to ensure that the birds come back and they perform in all these situations that you're telling us?
Yeah, you must be clued up with everything in the pigeon sport. You have to be clued up. Condition and clean regularly the loft. Keep the heat into the loft and so forth. You start living with it. You start manage that problems. You get used to that problems. You turn it from a negative side. You do it, go to a positive side. And that is over the years you manage that.
If someone else has these conditions, what first can you say
It's
they must look
It's a
at?
learning curve. You have to pay school fees, and that I mean by they have to learn through their faults. If I have some challenges, I must overbreed that challenges. It's a learning curve. You must pay every year. You have to pay your fees, and next year you improve on that fault. So that is a learning curve through the years. You can't go now into the sport and manage what the old fanciers manage, because it is, we guess, get used to that circumstances and curb that.
Throughout the racing in this, you're performing well. Tell us about your highlights.
Okay. In the olden days, I tried to win only club races. And from that point, I go to the union races. And thereafter, I go to the federation and to the board races. So now I'm not concerned about club races anymore, because I do not measure myself in club races. I want to score in the board. I want to score amongst 500 members, 7,000 birds. So you must have goals, set high goals. And I call birds that win club races for me, because they are not even good enough anymore. Now I concentrate on union and federation. And thereafter I concentrate and focus on the board races. Mainly all the races on the race sheet, I won. River, I won. Lainsburg, I won multiple times. Beaufort, all the races on the sheet, I won. My highlights is I won big prizes in the car competitions. I won a big screen TV. I won a stove, because on that earlier days, the main prize was a motor car, and thereafter it was a TV, and thereafter some other furnitures and stuff those days. I won several board races. Kroonstad is the elite race in the federated board. I went second there. I won the Mariental. On that stage, there was a race flown by all the fanciers in the Western Cape. Robertson, Swellendam, all that local areas, they joined us, and that was a Mariental race here to Namibia. I won that. I won Kimberley. I won go second in a Tennyson board. I won Bloemfontein. They make a joke of it, because every year when there's a Springfontein board race, I won that. So they took it off the racing card. But last year, the year before last year, I won in 1 year the Tennyson board race, went second in the combine, and I won again the Springfontein.
Wow.
And that is all different families of pigeons. The guy said, no, it's only long distance pigeons, and no, a good pigeon went from the start to the end. This one I received for the long distance champion, second in 2019 in the board, not in the union, in the board. Second, 2019 is not that years ago. All those long, ultra long races, my passion. And that is with that tip I gave the guys. Wing speed, get up the wing speed, that the revolutions. Velocity of 1700, that was the only bird with the 1700. She won the track, both tracks.
Tell us about your birds, that went from the start to the end, where they come from, how they bred, and which strain.
Okay, strains, I don't really believe in strains anymore. When I start my career, I bought that loft from a fancier, and I took all that nonsense birds and so forth, but they was not worth a lot. So my cousin in Bloemfontein, Tiens van der Westhuizen, he flies on the Westerwijk Lofts there. He gets some imports, and I go to Sun City. I entered twice birds at Sun City. I bought from City birds, but the old strains I've got, they do the job. And so my cousin, Tiens van der Westhuizen in Bloemfontein, he started giving me imports. He handpicked that imports from overseas, the Kies Bourgeois. That's specific. It's not a strain, it is a hen and cock he puts together, and they know it is the bloem pie. Anybody talk about the bloem pie? That is, you look at hawk there, eh? Yeah, there's a lot of hawks here between the mountains. The bloem pie, he gave me one of that pigeons, and never look back with that pigeons. With good pigeons, pigeon racing is more easily. But when you have to struggle with pigeons and understand the pigeons, it is an effort to raise pigeons. But when your pigeons is well and you have good pigeons, it is more easier, because you don't want to look for the fault at the pigeon, because they are well bred, they are pedigree, they are proven. So then you have to check to your management, your feeding, your training, etc. But when you are still chommel around with, is my pigeons good enough and so forth? No, then you are still in baby's shoes. This is a super hen. This is a super hen. As you can see on the ring number, it is BPF. That's it. It is Bloemfontein Racing Federation, BPF. She was bred by my cousin Tiens van der Westhuizen. Last year, she was top in the points on the longer distance. There's also a hen, super hen. Super hen. Look that step here on the wing. This was also bred by also a BPF ring. Her number is 0081. You can see 2 trucks was liberated, 7,000 birds in the boat. It was around about 500 members, the SSPO and the VCPTA. She won the track with 7 minutes. This year on the Victoria West, I can show you the results. It was a combine between the two. She was also bred by my cousin. That is super. This cock, this grizzle cock, he won the Tennyson board, and we flown a combine with the South Peninsula guys there, VCPTR, and he goes second in the combine, and he was first in the federated board. That cock. And he won this year. He won also the Calvinia race. He's a double winner.
Now, in terms of your objectives going forward for the future, what are your objectives?
I entered 2 birds now in the CPL at Bloemfontein. They're doing well. At All Flight, there's 3 pigeons. One is the 10th ace bird there, not under my name, under Chris Stemmert's name. I bred it for him. 2 of those, one was 19th during the week's race. That is also out of my loft. So my main objective is I want to win the car race, because that is a very high and a valuable thing to win, standing by your car, driving your car for several years, and hey, my bird wins it.
So you also breed for one, no?
No, if guys ask me to breed some, like Chris Stemmert, he's in Potchefstroom, I bred him 10, he handpicked it, and he enters in the CPL, he entered. I entered in CPL Lofts 2 by myself, and in All Flights he entered some of it.
All right. Now, earlier you told us that you went into the sport because
my
your
girlfriend's
father was in. Is it a family sport even now? Did that continue?
My wife is in the sport. She's in the game. She knows everything about the sport. My wife knows. We was at a prize giving, and they call all some ladies, 10 ladies. It's a federated board. It's prize giving at the federated board. They call up 10 ladies, and they must. And then there's a questionnaire. What will you use for cancer? She said, now Emtril. Or what will you use? How do you call in the bird? And she whistle like the husband whistle for the bird. My wife walked on this path. The bird is sitting there. Not one fly up to the roof, because they know the lady won't catch them for tosses, catch them to handle them for form, catch them to check them out. They are tamed by the woman. They are tamed. They don't fly even up, because I am the one who caught them, catch them now and then to check them out. But my daughter, my son, everyone knows about these pigeons. Yo, if I go on holiday, they check my pigeons out, and this one is not well, that one is not well, or something like that.
What's your biggest mistake you've done?
Biggest mistake? I have some pigeons from a friend in Pakketberg, and he gave me that pigeons called the Stassards. And all my friends and people knows about the Stassards. Come to me and ask the Stassards for Stassards. No, I have. I hand them out, give it presents, gifts here, gifts there. And all of a sudden, the old man is unfertile. And the old hen doesn't lay an egg anymore. Now I want to replace that birds. And I never replace it back to the stock loft. So I want to take a daughter of the old man and put it by the old man. Try to keep them still, and it was all in vain. And that's my biggest mistake. Birds that was very, very, very good out of the old pigeons that I had. I neglect to inbreed them and to line breed them, and I have not a single one left out of that stats.
So you'd advise people to inbreed?
Oh, never overlook your old pigeons and breed with the old ones, because there is a lot as a backup, and all of a sudden they are not fertile anymore, and that is too late for tears.
Now, what other tip can you give the guys out there?
Okay, the tip. There was a magazine, SA Racing Pigeon. They do an interview with me in that magazine, and I give the tip there also. But the people don't believe when you give them a great tip. If you give them a tip, stay out of jail, they will believe that tip. But when you give a decent tip for them, they don't take note. The cyclists, they go on the road with the bicycles, and they spin in the highest gear like that. For that, revolutions for their legs. Now, how do you get that revolutions that make you very tired and easily tired? How do you do that with the birds? Go to late night tosses, 20 kilometers, 25 kilometers, so they can sprint home. And when they come and sit at the loft, they're gasping for air. Not because they are tired, because they rush. And then you get your wing revolutions, get that up. But I was awarded not extra money to do extra tosses and that. So I let my birds out 6 o'clock in the morning while it is still dim, and they are like going around. They don't go there and range over there. They go like this around the loft for 10 minutes, and they come and sit here on the grass and on the landing board, gasping for air. Because when you let them go out while it is still dim, they go very fast with that revolutions of their wings, and that's the best exercise you can get.
Yeah.
Remember, some guys, pigeon fanciers, do not have vehicles. Some is on a tossing bakkie. Some put some money together to go for a toss. Long distances, short tosses. Short races, long tosses. Now the guys struggle with the petrol price is sky high. Just do that. Do yourself a favor. Put them every morning out. 6:15, then 6:10, then 6:05, then every day a bit earlier. You will see the difference. And that 10 minutes of circling is better than a half an hour sprint. Go on a bicycle or in the gym, sit on a bicycle, go in the high gear. You will be exhausted within 10 minutes. In the gym, they call it spinning, but most of the time the guys go on the bicycles. They do that spinning because that is excellent exercise.
Sure. Thanks a lot. And you have closing remarks?
Guys, keep small amount of birds, but good birds, because the sport is very expensive. And the basics is keep it simple and stick to the basics. Don't hear what other guys are telling you. Do what the top people in pigeon racing do, and do that.
And there you have it from Alta Louw. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. My name is Tatos Khone, and this is Pigeon Duiwe News.